Welcome back to Ignition GT. In recent years, the popularity of international motor shows has waned, and in some instances, like Geneva, they have ceased to exist altogether. Car makers and tech firms have responded by exploring different avenues through which to showcase their wares. A well-known example of this is the Consumer Electronics Show, or CES, which took place in Las Vegas in January, and another is Mobile World Congress, which was hosted in Barcelona earlier this month. Arthur, you've been to Barcelona and you attended that. Tell us, what are some of the tech that stood out for you while you were in Barcelona?
The real standout at Mobile World Congress was a car launched by a smartphone maker. So Xiaomi, which is very well known for high-end, relatively affordable smartphones, so they launched the SU7.
Yes.
There are a few versions, but the SU7 Ultra was showcased for the first time at Mobile World Congress. So you had all these phone people and mobile network people coming to check out a car, and it is a beauty. The colors are weird.
Yeah.
They have variations on standard kind of colors. Now, I don't particularly like the color, but the style of this vehicle is incredible. But the real shocker is when you hear of its acceleration. So unfortunately, you couldn't test it on the stand.
Yeah.
Not enough space and too many
Sadly.
people. But 0 to 100 in 2 seconds.
Sure.
2 seconds.
You have to see that to believe it. But
What?
it shocked the world when they announced those numbers. But if anyone's going to do it, it's a smartphone maker.
Of course, and they are well advanced beyond, our years. So it will be interesting to see when some of those products actually come into our space. And talking about coming into our space, what has been launched sort of globally that you think would adapt to the local spectrum or landscape this side?
Well, you can look at what's going to arrive in the short term and what's really long term. So let's look at the long term first.
Yes.
And at CES, one of the standout launches was BMW's new iDrive panoramic display. They called it a concept display, but they intend to bring it into all their Neue Klasse cars, the electric vehicles in particular, that are coming up in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And this is a display that goes from A pillar to A pillar. In other words, from side to side across the entire car, enveloping the driver and the passengers. And the idea is to envelop them in information and entertainment. The driver, though, will have slightly different information. We hope that the driver will not be too distracted, but the idea is to give them as much information as they possibly need on the one side and as much infotainment as they need on the other side. And one of the beauties of it that I really liked, I attended the launch virtually. Unfortunately, I didn't get to CES itself. But was that you could actually swipe a widget or an element of the infotainment from one side to the other side. So if the driver wants the music, for example, or the mapping to be moved in front of him, you can just swipe it across.
Oh, that's
I love that. And that's like working on your people who are in the creative content world.
They would definitely love that.
Monitors, and they're always swiping things across from one monitor to the next. That's going to be the car for them.
One of them is sitting next to you. I think he would love that feature, definitely. I mean, Papi, have you seen any, features that have been launched or coming up that would, assist us in the immediate future?
Sure. I think from my side, it's more rapid. I think charging speeds more than anything when it comes to especially electric vehicles.
Yeah.
And on to Arthur's point, I know these platforms are used for, I want to say pioneering tech. We'll see them there as sort of concepts, and then further down the line, they trickle down to us, the everyday users, right?
True.
But it's all exciting to see these things come into, hopefully, fruition in the next, coming years. So, yeah, I'm just excited for just the thought of it and just thinking of what's coming down the line.
I'll mention one that's about to arrive from CES, NVIDIA, who have set the world alight with their AI chips.
Oh, yes.
Suddenly, the big name in AI, trillion-dollar company from nowhere. They have a platform called NVIDIA Drive, which is being integrated into cars from Volvo, Merck, BMW, etc. And we're going to see a version of that in the new Volvo EX90 that's launching at the end of March in South Africa.
Correct, yeah.
So I know that they are using an NVIDIA chip in the car, and I'm looking forward to seeing whether it's actually NVIDIA Drive that's going to be powering the connectivity and the infotainment platform.
Yeah, definitely can't wait to see that as well. And just closing off, Papi, when you think of all these advancements, is it just as flexing as, you know, people? This is what we can do. Of course, we are advancing cars and technology, but how does that trickle down to the consumer? How does that benefit them, you know, at the back end?
Look, it's essentially and eventually all of this tech that you're seeing now, which may seem far-fetched or, you know, beyond our reach, it's here to enhance our experience of vehicles. We spoke about experience earlier with the Mustang, and all of these tech pieces just play an important part, an integral part in how you use your vehicle. For instance, the NVIDIA tech as well, there's a lot of safety components in there as well that work with your sensors, etc., that all give you this amazing experience at the end of the day, right? So that's how it works, and that's where, you know, all of this tech, you know, is started being thinking of, innovated, and then, you know, it comes into production where we get it in our vehicles.
And are there any safety features that were, you know, sort of announced at the CES or?
Safety is really critical to almost all of these connected car technologies. So you had, for example, the chip makers like Snapdragon announcing partnerships to enhance safety in the intelligent systems or the AI systems. You had Amazon Web Services and Intel, a cloud company and a chip company, announcing a joint initiatives to make in-car technology safer, for example. So you had these initiatives from every side of the industry, tech and car makers. And what it really boils down to is convergence of technologies. You're seeing convergence of high-tech cars and safety. Safety, in fact, has to become the priority for self-driving cars of the future.
Well, I really can't wait to see what the future has in store for us. It seems like it's a lot coming in all at once. Thank you for your input, gentlemen.
Thank you.